The WCA, aka the World Cube Association, aka the governing body that controls all of the official rules, regulations, and events pertaining to official cubing competitions. Official records in cubing competitions date all the way back to the first World Rubik's Cube Championship in 1982. However, it wouldn't be until the founding of the WCA in 2004 when competitions would become fairly standardized and organized. In the decades since its creation, the rules and regulations of official competitions have changed considerably, and what have also changed considerably are the events and the puzzles that the WCA recognizes as official events. As of this video, the WCA recognizes 17 events with 11 different puzzles. We of course have our standard N×N puzzles, and then of course we got Pure Minx, and then Omega Minx, and then Scube, and that one. In addition to these puzzles, we have blind events, of course. We have 3x3 blind, 4x4, 5x5, and of course, multi-blind. We also have 3x3 one-handed and fewest moves as well. Oh, shoot. Forgot about that one. We also have that as to why clock is still a official event. I have no idea why, but it may not be around for very long and could in fact become the next forgotten WCA event. Whoa. When we say forgotten, we're talking about events that no longer exist as part of the WCA competition lineup. We can sort of break these up into three categories. We first have the events that have officially been recognized and have had their results documented on the WCA official website. We have events that have been officially mentioned in WCA regulations, but their records were not officially kept. And lastly, we have events that have been widely practiced at WCA competitions, but have never been officially recognized by the WCA. These don't really matter too much, as any puzzle could be competitively solved at competition without records. So we're going to talk about a few very quick. 2x2 one-handed, 2x2 blindfolded, clock blindfolded, mirror blocks, Rubik's Snake, Rubik's 360, face-turning octahedron, literally any N×N puzzle larger than a 7x7, any cuboid, 3x3 blindfolded team solve. This one's still pretty popular, but it's unofficial. All of these are unofficial, none of these matter. If anyone tells you one of these was a WCA event, they are wrong. Or my research is wrong, but I don't think it is. Alright, now we're getting to the events that, while at some point or another were mentioned in WCA regulations, their records were never officially kept, and their official event status didn't last very long. Our first event is 3x3 no inspection. This is pretty self-explanatory. Competitors of 3x3 no inspection were given all of the same rules, all the same solving guidelines as regular 3x3, but they were not provided the normal 15 seconds of inspection time prior to beginning their solve. Once the cube cover was lifted, competitors had to think quickly as the timer started ticking. Very little has been documented about this event, but the earliest mention of the competition status can be found in the World Cube Association's rules and regulations from 2006. The event would be removed in July of the same year. It is unclear why this event appears to have lasted only a few months in the regulations, and it probably did last a little longer in reality, but this is likely due to a simple lack in popularity. I mean, there's barely any evidence on the internet that the event existed at all, so it clearly wasn't the most popular. Our next event is the Rainbow Cube. The Rainbow Cube is the Rainbow Cube is an oddly shaped face-turning puzzle. It may look a bit intimidating at first, but be not afraid. This is unlike any other twisty puzzle in the WCA. While traditional twisty puzzles have ludicrous numbers of possible combinations and are solved through various methods involving learned intuition and multiple memorized algorithms, the Rainbow Cube can be solved by just about anyone who gives it enough time. When you pick up a Rainbow Cube for the first time, it's a very strange experience. You start turning and turning, not sure what you're doing. However, as you start to slowly pair colors up, everything just sort of comes together and it feels like the puzzle solves itself. It is unclear how long the Rainbow Cube actually lasted as a WCA event, but it did have at least a few dedicated participants. The only official mention of the event is in the WCA's rules and regulations from 2007, where it was removed just a few months before 3x3 no inspection for simple lack in participation. If you want to find our next forgotten event, just go back to the 2007 regulations again and look a little further. The Siamese cube is pretty fascinating. All it is two 3x3s that have been fused together. If you know how to solve a 3x3, then this puzzle seems fairly simple. However, due to the bandaging caused by the fusion of several pieces, there are plenty of new challenges to work around. There are a few different variations of the Siamese 3x3, but the one used in competition involves two cubes fused together only by the single outermost edges and corners. There are a few manufacturers who have produced the Siamese cube throughout the years. However, during its official competition status, many competitors hand-made their own puzzles. Again, little is available online about this event's status besides its WCA removal in 2007 due to a lack in popularity. However, we do know that this event had a decent lifespan. In an old video by veteran YouTube cuber RedKB, he talks about his breaking of the Siamese Cube world record at the Rubik's Cube World Championships in 2003. Clearly this puzzle must have had a decent engagement at some point, but it was not able to withstand the test of time. There are really only 3 official events that have been completely removed from the WCA lineup, but whose official competition records are still available online. These official rankings of these events are tough to find on the WCA's website, so there will be a link in the description if you want to check them all out. The first 2 are Magic and Master Magic. Magics are unlike any other competition puzzle. They are made out of a set of plastic panels with pictures of rings on them. These panels are tied together, and the puzzle is solved by linking the rings. 3 on the Standard Magic, and 5 on the Master Magic. Removed at the start of 2013, Magics are unique in that, when used in competition, they only had one scrambled state, the unlinked rings. As a result, the solving process is identical each time. This made the puzzle very repetitive, and this repetition is one of the biggest contributors to the elimination from the WCA lineup. In addition, what was especially irritating about the Magic was its physical construction. For the Standard Magic, there are 2 main methods of solving the puzzle. There's a slower, more meticulous method that only includes standard folding moves, and more advanced method, which is much quicker, but involves a strange and slightly precarious twisting move. It is in this twisting move where many Magics would suffer from physical issues of the strings coming off, tangling up, or even snapping. In competition, if a normal twisty puzzle malfunctions or pops, it is fairly easy to reassemble it in a timely manner. However, restringing a Magic takes several minutes, if you even know how to do it. At the time of their removal, all Magic World Records were held by Wang Yishan, who had a ridiculous 0.69 second single on Standard Magic and a 1.66 on Master. Oh no, not this one now. 3x3 feet is the 3rd and most recent casualty to the WCA lineup, having its official status removed at the start of 2020. The event is pretty self-explanatory. Competitors are given most of the same sort of rules and inspection time as normal 3x3, but they can only make turns with their feet. It was certainly an interesting event, but because not everyone is willing to get their dogs out in front of a bunch of people at competition to solve a cube, it was not very popular. This lack in popularity meant that very few competition organizers were willing to host the event. Although Feet did have a few dedicated participants, the limited number of competitions hosting the event meant that they rarely had an opportunity to compete on an official level. By the time of its removal in 2020, Feet was the least participated in event by far. In addition to its lack in popularity, and possibly a contributing factor to its lack in popularity, were concerns about hygiene. Most people don't like the idea of people's foot juices contaminating all the timers and mats that may also need to be used for normal hand-dependent events. Whether this was all just exaggerated germaphobe propaganda, the fear of hygiene was enough to put a stop to 3x3 with Feet once and for all. At the time of its removal, the world record single for 3x3 with Feet was held by Muhammad Aman Kohli with a 15.56, and the world record average was held by Lim Hung of 19.90. So there we go, some of the events that time forgot, I suppose, but we didn't forget where we just talked about them right here, right now. It's sad for some of us to lose those events we hold so close to our hearts, but it just has to happen sometimes. And it'll happen for you sometime. Alright, thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm back, by the way. Do y'all think that I can do the like tablecloth magic trick with this blanket?